Let's talk about the land.
Yeah, okay.
So what's the story about the land?
There was no land. Don't know where the land thing came from. There's actually no land. There was a time that I actually took money from him to get an apartment. Probably he thinks it was a property that I was acquiring, but I actually did tell him that I wanted to get what's it called? An apartment for my mum in Benin.
Okay.
Maybe he thought it was a property or was a landed property or something. I don't know. But there was no,
how much was it?
Land. I think it was about 600. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so that means from the conversation we're having, there are other expenditures that were here and there, because don't forget, he paid for a house for you, did he?
Yes, I did.
So also aside the videos, there was a house, there was a car, there was a 600,000 naira that was given to you for your mom. Was there any time he gave you money for something else?
That's like the only 3 times. The house thing, this one I told you about right now.
Yeah.
That's like the only 2 times I actually ever, yeah. Maybe one other time, maybe $1,000 or yeah, that's like the only time.
Okay, looking at how things are played, Jude has not gone to court, and you are back in right now after you've taken a break for over 2.5 years now. Do you think you want to focus on your music since Jude is not fighting anything, or you want to still go fighting?
Well, I'm not really a fighting person per se, but I'd love to. Maybe for the first time in my life, because I actually really worked out of the whole craziness and just wanted to focus on my life and do bigger things and whatnot. But then after this whole drama, I actually think I'm actually looking into it.
Okay, so looking at it, so what if Jude decides to go to court as well? And okay, if you sue Jude and Jude comes to defend himself, looking at the character assassination on the internet about Jude, right? Do you think that you're not going to be having 2 cases to answer in court as well?
What do you mean?
Like the things you said, like, because recently I saw on the blogs where you were still throwing shades, or you posted something because you mentioned his name to Joy to.
These are things that he did. If I'm lying on you, then obviously these are things that he did. Obviously, because like when
that's what I'm saying.
When the news actually the news actually broke,
yeah,
I didn't watch the interview Jude did actually, so I didn't really know the magnitude of what he had said. I just heard it went live, and I didn't know you could actually save a video and then put it on YouTube. I didn't know I could actually watch it, so I thought it was like over with. He already said what he said. So people were calling me, telling me different stories. And you obviously know when people tell you stuff, they could say from a malicious angle. It might not really be what the person said, So I got angry and then I came live. And then that was when we had the other live where I said, yo, screw this whole situation. Like, So it took me like 2 weeks for me to go and watch everything Jude said. And then,
was it the interview with me?
Your interview was like really long. I couldn't even finish your interview. It was the one with Tunde.
Okay.
Where he talked about the car. I think he said something about the car too. So like everything was like really messed up everywhere. And then that was when I actually did find the need to actually come out and say, this is my own side of the story, And that's really what this is all about.
Okay, so at the point where you apologized and you were like,
that wasn't me. I would never apologize to Jude.
Who posted that? That
was a team that were working here in Lagos, because obviously they didn't know the story. So when there was an outburst, I think they kind of they were a bit shaken because they really didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what was going on. They didn't know the story. I would never in my life apologize. Jude owes me an apology.
Okay, so don't you think that if your team sits down and reviews the situation, right, and they felt like it was an opportunity for them to put out an apology and say, okay, we apologize, let everything go off and let's move on, don't you think you should follow what your team is telling you?
They didn't go through what I went through. So like, it's easy for you to apologize on my behalf when you obviously didn't go through what I went through. So
money follows attention. Yeah, but as much as money follows attention, but money frowns at bad attention sometimes, right? Don't you think that you should take that and say, okay, you know what, instead of going to court, dragging yourself in court, back and forth, and you might win, he might win, you spend money, you spend a lot of time. 12 months is a lot. Don't you think that you should actually take what your team had put out, hold on to that, and start doing your music instead of going back into litigation?
I actually already started doing my music. Coming out June wasn't my priority. Wasn't part of the plan. Actually, I was working on my EP. You know, coming back, shooting videos. When I changed my name to Madrina, obviously this fight would have been here already 2 years ago. Because obviously I would have said a lot of things already on the internet, and probably I would have even found out that I didn't even really have to change my name and all these things. So obviously I'd already accepted what happened to me, and I really wanted to move on. But it was quite, I'd say it's fate that everything came back rushing. And then since it's here, and why not?
Okay, looking at it from this perspective, if I was an investor, have you ever spent money on somebody? And what was it about? Like the money, have you ever paid money for somebody to build their career? Have you ever done that?
Well, not a career per se, probably school fees, like, you know, train someone in school or whatever.
Where are those people right now?
They're home. I have siblings, yeah, obviously.
Okay, that's family. Have you ever given money to an outsider and said, okay, take this money and do your career? Have you ever done that?
Yes, of course, I've done. I'm not really someone that would come out and say, probably, yes, I have done a lot. I used to have a foundation, so I do support people. So
is there an artist that you've done a collaboration with or for just to help the artist, and today you feel like they didn't really appreciate what you did?
It's really normal, yeah.
Okay, now flip that coin. Don't you think that's the same way Jude feels right now?
That I didn't appreciate him?
Yeah.
No, I don't, because I used to call Jude Dad. There was never a time that I didn't appreciate Jude as a person. Even when he built his house, I bought him a gift, took it to him.
Was this when you guys were having issues already, or was?
I think it was before we had the whole thing, or rather, I think it was. I can't remember, but there was never a time I never really appreciated Jude as a person. I would say it's the opposite. Yeah. So,
coming from an industry person, looking at the kind of situation, because it's been we've been going in circles, right? I love to hear your music. I love to see you and Jude shake hands, and you know, because I'm telling you this from experience, right? This fight, nobody ever wins. I tell you the truth, yeah. It has happened to me just like maybe a year and a half ago. I was hurt, I was pained, and I said I was never. But you see, when you say never, 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 you see, when you're a creative person, one thing I'll tell you is when you're a creative person, you need to always look at things that you've made many mistakes, and I'll tell you where you made your mistakes. This thing has taught you the following lessons I'm going to mention. One, you need to understand the importance of a lawyer, not just any lawyer, an entertainment lawyer. When you're going through disputes with a record label or someone who has gotten to the level as Jude has, you know, Jude is one of those guys that have helped build our industry to where we are right now. When you're dealing with that kind of person, the best thing you should have done or you should do is to get a lawyer. He might be angry and feel, because most times in our industry, when you bring a lawyer, we start getting very angry that why would you bring a lawyer? Right? But it's the right thing for you to have done. That's where you made a mistake, number one. Number two, I believe that there were things that you should have done that would have helped save the kind of situation that we are currently facing, which is back and forth. Now, in everything that has happened, let me not speak for you, but in everything that has happened, where do you think you went wrong yourself? Before we to ask where you think Jude went wrong, where do you think in everything that's happened you went wrong?
I was emotional. That's the only thing I would say, and which was really normal.
Then you think you're still emotional right now?
Well, I'm a human being, so it's really normal for me, and I'm a creative person, so it's really normal for me to be emotional. You can get money back, but you can't get time. You can, you know, there's a lot of time wasted.
But the time is here now.
Yeah, obviously.
We've given your entire fan base have given you their time now. They've brought back the time. They've given you the opportunity to, because there are a lot of artists that have been gone. You don't hear about them.
Yeah, it's really normal.
So now you have the time now. So why not use that time to get back your career than using the time to fight to go to litigation? Don't you think that should be the best thing to do?
Well, doing music actually, but this things has to be fought. Like I just think not only for me. I think when things like this happen for the younger generation too, people that look up to me and obviously the industry at large. Because I actually watched an interview. The reason why I said something about Rude Boy when he said when I want to sign an artist, I need a collateral. I didn't.
So he had he had that interview with me.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That person is supposed to be a veteran, right? That sounded like really like who does that?
But he's not. Has he offended you?
That was offensive.
To you?
Yes.
But he wasn't talking about you.
No, I don't care whoever he was talking to.
Because that interview was way before the whole issue between you and Jude came out on the internet. Maybe he knew about it from underground, right? Because his brothers with Jude, but he was not. He didn't mention your name, so he wasn't talking about you.
Have to. I'm an artist.
Okay.
There are fights that people like when you've been through stuff. It becomes your fight. They don't really have to say, "Oh, Ubi," before you know this thing is actually pointed at you.
Okay.
Which actually for like, oh my God, like I knew I wasn't. I found, I really.
So when he said that, you felt attacked.
Yes, I found that I was with the wrong people. We didn't have the same. The worst thing that can actually happen to you is for you to be around the people that you guys don't have the same state of mind. Like you guys, you don't have the same reasoning. That's obviously, as an artist, before you sign an artist, you've seen something in that artist. That's the reason. I'm a collateral. I don't need a property. You don't need, like, my music it's money, it's materials. Like it might not really be money like right now, but obviously it's
content is king, so content is money.
So
yeah.
That didn't make any sense. Like the respect that I had for him actually went like this. Like I was like, dude, no matter what, like you didn't really have to go that way. That was like
So that's why you attacked him?
Exactly. That was so like, I was like, dude, do you even think like before you say things out of your mouth? Like really?
Why did you move to Benin?
I was sick. A lot of things actually happened. I was sick. Yeah.
So are you better now?
Yes, I'm good.
So you're ready to give us music?
Obviously.
So can we hear some music?
You can hear some music. For now, we're actually planning to putting out new music probably next month. I've been willing to.
We're in a new month. We're in July.
Yeah. Oh, true. Okay. This is July.
July. So it's July 1st.
First, yeah. Thank you for correcting me. Yeah, probably this month. Yeah, new music.
So is it an EP or you're just dropping singles?
An EP. I might be putting out a single first before an EP. But we're still talking.
Are you gonna feature me?
Do you sing?
I want to drop an EP. I'm not joking. I'm dropping an EP as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, probably.
You see, I would say this from a place of love and a place of being an industry person and everything. Yes, you want to fight Jude. Yes, you can throw shades at Rude Boy, say whatever you want to say. But I'll tell you something. Anybody who has picked up one kobo of his money to spend on what you're doing, all you need to do for that person is just to say thank you and move on, no matter how attacked you feel sometimes. I'm not saying don't go to court. I'm not here to mediate. I'm here to just interview you and let's have a conversation. I'm not here to advise you not to do what you want to do. But coming from a fan point of view, coming from an industry point of view, what I would like to tell you is focus on your music. People are waiting. When you posted that thing about Jude and Rude Boy, how many views did you see on your Insta story?
I can't remember.
Did you get up to 50,000?
Obviously.
Exactly. Those are the kind of... So you can imagine if that 50,000 were 50,000 streams in less than 24 hours. I'll tell you something. Litigation is headache. You go in, you go back and forth. The lawyers... you see lawyers, their job. Lawyers are built to say, if you meet some lawyers, they'll tell you, let's go and fight. They'll fight, they'll get to a point. Now, somebody will call them and say, come, let's have a conversation. They are ready to go. You know what you've done? You paid legal fees. They'll charge you for arbitration fee. You guys will sit down, and then you might not be at the. They will drag the arbitration. You keep paying. You know, if this was America, I'm sure you wouldn't want to go. You won't want to because you're paying per hour. But my advice would be, focus on your music. I see you doing. I see you coming back. You're one of those artists that I still see that, okay, if you drop music, people will listen to it, right? Let's forget the whole issues that have happened. All those things happening within our industry. And that's the reason why we have this conference that is coming up. I don't know if you heard about it, the Music Week Nigeria, because we want to really address structural systems and partnerships within our industry. Now you have come on. One major thing I always tell artists is not about leaving your record label, is when you're about to leave, leave peacefully. 1, 2, if you're even living at all, fighting, leave knowing that you have something to fall back to. In terms, not even money. I tell people, you can have $10 million sitting in your account and your career will see dip. You know why? It's because the runners are very important. You walked in here today with your manager. That manager, if your manager is here with you right now, they need to be a PA somewhere running errands. They need to be your A&R doing something somewhere. They need to be your DJ currently doing a mix for your next EP. They need to be your stylist thinking about, shit, what's the next look we are going to give them for Cynthia Morgan. You need to have, you see, that's a team. So now, for a lot of artists, unfortunately, they never see this team as important until they leave a record label. When they start building these things on I have an artist that left a record label, a big guy. He called me. He said, "Ubi, I want us to work together." So I walked into his house. I was looking at him. When he was talking, I felt like this is the situation. And I'm going to tell you, if in America, when they release prisoners from a prison, when they are going out of the prison, you see that some of them that family really miss them. You see that their families are parked outside waiting to receive them out of the prison. That's because you are going into another family. The prison family, you are done with that life, you are going to another family. That family will either help you reposition yourself into the society. That is what I would like you to do. Build your team, reposition yourself into the society, push your music. Do you understand? Now, I'm not telling you, Jude did not send me to come and tell you not to go and fight him in court. But for the love of music and for us to move forward, I want you to, before you do anything, go sit with your lawyer and ask him 3 questions. Place your case on the table. And if your lawyer is truthful, he will tell you the loopholes in the documents or the loopholes in the things you want to go to court with. Because having spoken to you, I'm not a judge. You know, someone can have a weak case and go to court and win, right? Someone can have a strong case and go to court and lose, right? But the most important thing is I'd like you to focus on your music. I'd like to hear your music. I'd like to be part of the people that are handing out your links online, making sure that your music flies. I also love one day for you to see Jude and hug him really tight. You see, listen, you see the daddy you call Jude. See, it takes a lot for someone to call someone daddy. Let's be honest. You didn't just wake up to call him daddy because he put a gun on your head and say, call me daddy. He didn't do that. You called him daddy because there was a place of love that daddy was coming from, right? So from that place of love is where I'll say that, you know what, we need to cut this chase. Because if you continue the chase, it will also affect you mentally. It's already. Exactly, so. It's already affected me mentally. So probably that's the reason why I just think probably let's chase it to the end. This never has an end. It will, obviously it will have an end. But you know, Jude has nothing to lose. I don't have anything to lose. You do. You think so? You have a career. Yes, I do. And that's your paycheck. I have a new name. He's gonna be fighting Cynthia Morgan. I'm Madrina now. You think so? Yeah. Well, talk to your lawyers very well. That's the most important thing I'll tell you. So, looking at your Vivo page, right? Looking at your Vivo page, now that you know that he didn't take your Vivo page, but he only took the content. He only was taking money from the content on the channel. Do you think that are you going to still use that particular Vivo page? Why? It's over with. I already made songs with the name. Like, you know, obviously, there's already a projection of the name Madrina and, you know, the brand itself. So, like, going back to Cynthia Morgan is like,
I don't know. It's like, I don't know.
So using Madrina, you want to be a new artist all over again?
Yeah. No, a new artist per se. That's me now. It's been Madrina for like 2 years. I actually did officially change the name like that was 2 years ago. So like going back to tell my fans right now that we're going back to be Cynthia Morgan.
Your fans still see you as Cynthia Morgan. That's why when you are trending on Twitter, you don't trend as Madrina, you trend as Cynthia Morgan.
There's actually more. There's a story. There's a bigger story to the name Cynthia Morgan actually.
What's the story?
Okay. Actually, that's another story. That's a big story. There was something that happened in 2016 or 2017 that made me change my name to Cynthia Morgan. Cynthia Morgan is actually my mom's dad. Morgan is actually my mom's dad's actually my maternal family name, actually. So my dad go back into my life, I apologized and everything. So when Jude's situation happened, I just saw it as a blessing for me to forget about things that happened to me as a child, you know, and just move on and change the name, you know, totally. So like, I didn't really see it as, I guess that was why it was actually easier for me to actually change the name. So
looking at your Snapchat outburst on Davido a few years ago, and then Davido now lending a helping hand to wanting to do music with you, don't you think that's something that could happen with the whole situation between yourself and Jude?
Something that could do what?
Like, okay, you and David had an issue a long time ago, right? Mm-hmm. And then flashback to 2020, David is actually saying, okay, you know what, I want to do a song with you. You know, you should reach out, and you guys, I'm sure you currently have a song with David. So don't you think that's something that can still happen with Jude in the future? One day it might be Jude that is on the other side trying to lend a helping hand.
To who?
To you.
Why would Jude want to help me? I don't need help from anyone. Like I don't get that. Like doing music is not helping anyone. You're both helping yourselves to an extent. Actually, the song with David, actually, I haven't decided to do the song because I felt like the song wasn't conscious enough for me at this point. So, and I was reaching out to him so we could do something else. So, I don't see music as helping anybody. If you really want to help me, I'm more on the. I'm a very spiritual person. I see helping people. It might not really. That was a wrong statement. Like reaching out to me to do a song with me, because I didn't see that as you helping me. Okay, yeah.
You see that as like a collaboration. Yeah. I have Cynthia Morgan. There's David. We're coming together as a collaboration.
David was supposed to even do a song before now, actually. So we fell out at some point, which is like really normal for people to fall out when you don't understand yourselves. Like normally, if you do me something when I know like I will tell you, say I don't like them. So it's really normal.
So have you guys spoken on the phone since then?
No, we haven't actually.
So I think that should happen because David for me is a really big artist, and he's done a lot of work. That's in Nigeria, I always say that's my #1 artist. Everyone knows that. I don't hide it, and he's actually a good guy. I think you guys should hook up and do something because we'd love to hear it. But are you open to doing collaborations with other artists?
Yes, of course. Yeah. Definitely.
So how often do you go to the studio now?
Now?
Yeah.
Actually, I made some records already, and I'm actually open to. I might start going to the studio again like really soon. But I already have songs on ground that I've been working actually.
So looking at me, okay, let's start with me as a fan and everyone in this room and the fans out there on social media, the ones you don't know one-on-one. What do you have to tell them? What are we expecting? Are we expecting gun in my hand, or we are expecting music? Let's hear that.
Well, music, love, actually. Respecting, I love you guys. That's the only thing I can actually say for now. Yeah, I love everyone, and do you. Always be real to whatever you're doing, and just be you, actually. So
coming back into the industry and finding out that there's COVID right now, and no artist is actually performing. We're all back at square one. Do you see yourself as an opportunity that post-COVID, all of you will rise together now and again? Because right now, we don't know who is the biggest artist in Nigeria. We don't know who is the biggest artist in Africa. We're all still hustling to make sure that COVID lets us go out to perform. So do you think that is a great opportunity for you to come back into the industry? Because when the industry opens back up, we're all going to be on the same stage performing. Everybody's going to be hustling to come back into the #1 position. You think that is good for you?
Well, I think COVID is actually a time of reflection. It's given an opportunity for people to actually reflect on everything, life in general, and that's what music is really about. I'm seizing the opportunity to do what I can do for now and then prepare myself. Obviously, it's not really only music, it's more than music. And I can't wait, obviously, to perform, because like I haven't performed for like about 2 years now. It's just been like petty stuffs that I've been like, you know, really doing. So generally, I just want to leave. That's what it is. It's not really about, yeah.
So are we expecting a diss track on the album?
Dissing who? I don't diss people. I think you actually have like this thing like...
No, I'm asking because...
Who am I dissing?
So we're not expecting any diss track on the album?
No.
Please, if you have a diss track, you need to feature me, because me, I have somebody I need to give a verse.
Okay. No, I'm not dissing anyone actually. No.
That's good. We hope to hear the album. We hope to, the EP, we hope to see you perform again. And we hope to see as many Nigerian artists and African artists and all the artists around the world come back on stage, because it's really depressing. You know, you can imagine right now, we're in summer already, right? So it would have been very important for you to be on stage performing for you have a huge fan base, you know, performing for them and making sure that you know, one thing I've come to understand about music is during COVID is, we always thought that going for shows was stressful. COVID has actually taught us that it was actually a blessing for us to go out, you know, perform to the fans, you know, feel the pulse of the fans, you know, touch your fans, take pictures with your fans, but you cannot do that. So, for me, I think it's also a right time for you to return back into the industry, sit down and say, okay, you know what, we're all on the level. So it's great. It's really good to have you on the interview, and it's really good that we have had conversations, and I hope that this is going to be the last interview.
Yeah, obviously.
So the next interview is about music. You sure?
Yeah.
Cross your heart.
How do you cross your heart?
Cross it this way.
Yeah.
You cross it. All right. I'm happy that that's going to be. So thank you, Cynthia, for coming on the show. On the show, I really appreciate you for taking out your time for us to have this conversation, and play your music, download your music, stream your music. Streaming is huge right now because of everyone is at home, everyone is busy, and hope to have you see videos. Are you going to shoot any video right now?
Yeah, obviously after the COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you should shoot indoor videos now. People like you know, Free Me Digital, they own a space, Free Me Space. So I think you should actually.
We might actually try something.
Yeah. All right. Good.
Thank you. How do you do this?
So this is how we're shaking right now, because of COVID.
Okay.
All right. Thank you for coming on the show.
Anyways,